Your child's teacher just gave them the label of being lazy as you walked out of the parent-teacher conference. They said if your child would just try harder and apply themselves, they'd be okay. You start to think about this and relate it to what you see your child do or don't do around the house. He doesn't do all the things you ask him to do. Sometimes he forgets to do those things. Sometimes it looks like he just doesn't want to do them because he's more interested in something else. Other times, you feel like it's just plain old defiance. Look, all brains are wired differently, and we respond to different things in different ways. There's a good chance your child's brain is wired differently than yours, like I'm telling you anything new. I'm Kyle Feingold, and I like to say I'm the proud owner of ADHD and dyslexia. But I'm also the co-founder of Guiding Bright Minds. And at Guiding Bright Minds, we believe that every diverse and neurodiverse learner has incredible strengths and talents that are waiting to be uncovered. So I've worked in education for over 17 years, and I've seen so many incredibly bright and intelligent students that don't fit in the box we want to put them in. At school, chances are your child's in a box where they have to do certain things at certain times to get good grades and feel valued and be considered normal. At home, you might want these kids to be just a little bit more like their siblings who follow the rules and do what you ask them to do in a timely manner. Look, there's something called executive functioning, and it controls our ability to start a task and see it through to the end. It allows us to set a goal and do whatever is necessary along the way to achieve it. Executive functioning is responsible for controlling our emotions and allowing us to read the environment or setting we're in and respond appropriately. The executive functioning is actually the part of our brain that allows us to remember the commands: clean up your room, get in the shower, brush your teeth, and I'll see you downstairs in 30 minutes. A colleague of mine likes to call the executive function the brain's president. When the brain's president doesn't work optimally, it can make accomplishing routines extraordinarily difficult, like those required to get up for school and get out the door with all the materials in a timely manner. So why does this happen? Well, we all have a chemical in our brain called dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical that allows us to feel pleasure. For many students who don't struggle with executive functioning, getting a task accomplished, even if it's mundane and boring or not of particular interest, they'll find a way to get it done if it accomplishes a larger task or a goal that activates the dopamine and brings pleasure. For children who struggle with executive functioning, dopamine levels can be lower, which in turn makes it more difficult for them to find interest or engage in doing routine or mundane tasks that aren't interesting to them. Some may question this, but let me tell you, there's a ton of research out there that proves this. So when your executive function is wired differently, it changes the learning game. Most schools today grade and evaluate all kids in the same way, regardless of how they're wired. Therefore, our kids that are wired a little bit differently, but are highly intelligent, don't necessarily look or feel intelligent in that traditional environment. Let me tell you, I've worked with countless numbers of incredibly bright kids who don't fit in the box well and turn into fantastic and highly successful adults. But I'll tell you, I've worked with a lot more students that lose their confidence, their self-esteem, and the belief that they're smart because they feel shamed or feel ashamed, all because they don't fit in the traditional box. Let me tell you something. These kids aren't broken, and they certainly don't need fixing. Frankly, the only thing that needs fixing is the environment that they're in and the understanding of our society. These out-of-the-box learners and thinkers, they're remarkable, and they need creative ways of being tuned to and related to. So how can we relate to our incredible kids so they feel smart and valued for who they are? Well, here's a couple tips. First, identify something that they love, that they're passionate about. Get invested in that and learn to speak a language they understand. If you have to change things at home, different routines, so that they better fit their interests, and they're still contributing in a meaningful way to your house, that's a win, at least in my book. So if you can help your out-of-the-box child feel connected to what's needed, and it feels important to them, they're going to get it done. My closest personal experience to all this is my phenomenal 8-year-old son, who's absolutely an amazing out-of-the-box learner and thinker. For him, doing routine things like getting through his morning routine, it's dull, it's boring, and it can take forever, which leads to frustration, yelling, and him feeling terrible about himself when he leaves the house in the morning or sits down at his computer. For him, we found that he's motivated by competition and being the first one to be done. So now in our house, the morning's a competition. He has the opportunity to beat us downstairs by getting his morning routine done first. We now all leave the house feeling positive and upbeat on most mornings. So my question for you is, how can you get on your child's level? Remember, it's not about changing your child. It's about changing how you adapt to your child's strengths so that they can build the confidence and self-esteem and believe in themselves. This is the first series, or this is the first in a series of vlogs that I'll be doing. If you like it, share it. You can also just subscribe to receive our newsletter and vlogs at guidingbrightminds.com. And remember, at Guiding Bright Minds, we believe that every diverse and neurodiverse learner has incredible strengths and talents that are waiting to be uncovered.